Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we are back in Ghyran with another Scourge of Ghyran. It's day 11 and it's time for the Ironjawz. Harder, choppier, piggier. So we have, in typical Orky fashion, just wild, wacky stuff. Lewis is giving you your lore drop for the day, but we're here for the rules. So what have we got? The Ironjawz receive two suitably aggressive battle formations. Brute Fist effectively doubles the number of units that can benefit from the Mighty Destroyer's battle trait. Pretty handy for getting the boys into action a bit faster. And Big Snickers evolves around, not chocolate, but duffing up big enemies. Basically, if it's bigger than the boys, they hit it harder. Which sounds very orky. Both formations are typically Route 1 violence, just as you would expect from the Ironjawz. More bashing, more often. Haha, I see what you did there. As for your monsters, Big Uns turns your beasts into an organic can opener, making them better at chewing through armor to get to the tasty treats inside. Madden turns them into a frothing beast that just keeps stomping on stuff until it's turned into paste. Fasten can only be used once, but enables your monster to make a normal move in your hero phase. Played at the right time, it could lead to an early charge or a last-minute dash for a crucial objective. Do orcs do objectives? To round out the updates, two units have the Gyranic rebirth. Gore-gruntas and Weirdbrute Wrekkaz. Gore-gruntas could previously get bogged down by large units of tenacious infantry. Now they can just barge their way right through the little guys. Nice. Both the riders and their mounts inflict extra damage on the charge too, making them perfect beast killers, especially if you choose the Big Snickers. The Wrekkaz have turned proper wonky in Ghyran. Some say it's due to all the supermassive shrooms growing everywhere. Others think it's because everything is so green. They feel surrounded by Gork, or possibly Morg. Whichever the case, their presence inspires nearby Ironjawz to get in on the madness. So the Wrekkaz are getting high on shrooms and then passing them out to all of the boys, which is very themey, and Gore-gruntas are just running through things. Sounds like Gore-gruntas needed a bit of a boost, so this could be an interesting difference between the two war scrolls. We'll touch on unit sizes and things later. General's Handbook fact number 5. You're playing a 2,000 point game. You've created your army roster, but you've still got 80 points or equivalent in grot teeth to spare. What to do? In the new battle pack, certain faction terrain features, enhancements, lore and battle formations can have a points cost to include them. Perfect for rounding out that army roster. Interesting. The majority of these options still cost 0 points to start, but a handful of dominant options and universal manifestation laws have a low 20 to 30 point cost. The latest points values are available in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar app, and points updates are available in the Battle Profiles download on warcom.com. We're turning up the heat in tomorrow's edition, but you can't guess what that means. Barbecue! Oh, and more dwarves. Barbecue dwarf, even better. Right, what do we make of that? I think every army list that I've made in the AOS app has had 30 points or less below the target, probably. Because it seems like the philosophy, I don't know how long this has been with AOS, but certainly with 40k, and I think the philosophy is similar between the two teams. They are two very different teams. I think philosophies are similar in this regard. Just make points round numbers. You might have some left over, but you're not paying for quite a few things, which I personally don't like. I think for AOS it works better, but how do we feel about points being added in for certain things? It depends on unit points, and we talked about this yesterday. What's happening with unit points? Are points going to go up? Are we seeing a shift to heroes being more expensive, but bog standard units being slightly cheaper? We don't really know. This one I'm slightly more worried about as an update, but we need to see the whole GHB to try and get an idea of what's going on. That's fine. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they've done. But again, this is potentially, and alright, low points cost, people have points left over. I get it, it makes sense. And I think certainly for powerful things, there should be a bit of a tax on there to make you think about, well, I could take this unit, but that leaves me 10 points. I want this manifestation law, that's 25. You can't do both. I like the choice, and points changes and points costs and things allows you to have that choice, but we need to see this as a whole. It is a little bit of a feels bad depending on what you're doing, but I actually think this could be positive if they do it right and it's balanced. Again, I'm reserving judgment until we see the whole General's Handbook. Who knows what will happen from that point onwards. But let's take a look at our faction pack. So, before we get into that, I don't have access to the Uruk Battle Tome, much like the Cruel Boys, so we'll just be looking at these units on face value. If you have the Battle Tome, let me know what you think between the two War Scroll options, and we'll have a chat in the comments down there. See what you guys think. But we'll just be going over what we have here. How about we jump into it? Faction rules: Ironjawz. Battle formations: Brute Fist. Once per battle round army, any hero phase. Mightiest Destroyers. Effect: if there are any friendly mega bosses on the battlefield, for the rest of the turn you can pick another eligible unit to be a second target when using the Mighty Destroyers ability. I don't know what Mighty Destroyers is, but being able to use it twice is, well, it's 100% boost, isn't it? So that's good. If there are no friendly mega bosses on the battlefield, roll the dice. On a 3-up, for the rest of the turn you can pick another eligible unit to be the second target when using the Mighty Destroyer's ability. Mega bosses mean you get it straight away. If they're all dead, or you don't want to take any, you still get it, but it's just on a 50-50 roll. Okay, interesting. No, it's not. It's a 66% roll, isn't it? Because it's on a 3-up. Interesting. I suppose that means if you're building a certain way, and it might just be that you need to take mega bosses to make the army work, but even if they all get killed, you've still got access to this ability. I think that's quite nice. It's not guaranteed, but I think that's quite nice. Our second battle formation: Big Snickers. Once per turn army, any combat phase. Doff up the big thing. Declare pick a friendly Ironjawz unit to be the target. Effect: for the rest of the turn, add 1 to wound rolls for the target's combat attacks to target an enemy unit that has a health characteristic greater than its own. We've seen something similar to this before. I quite like it. It just makes things hit a little, well, it's not hit, it's wound, but you know what I mean. Makes things a little bit deadlier. And for an army that's all about getting in and swinging big axes, I think that's quite nice. Our Monstrous Traits. Passive: Big 'Un. Effect: add 1 to the rend characteristic of this unit's companion weapons. We're seeing a lot of companion +1 rend. This is a repeated thing. It's not usually the best option, but it isn't a terrible option. Our next one: once per turn army, any combat phase. Madden. Declare if this unit charges this turn, pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. Effect: roll a d3. On a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. If any models are slain by this ability, after those models are removed from the battlefield, if this unit is still in combat, this unit can immediately use this ability again. Oh, so as long as you charge, you get in, you roll your d3, on a 2-up you inflict however much damage the dice shows, goes through his mortal wounds. If any models are slain, and depending on what you're going into, there's a high chance that you will kill something, certainly for more infantry heavy horde armies, but if you're still in combat with it, you can just do that again. That's nice. And potentially getting you out of combat if you didn't have enough damage to just finish off that unit. That's actually really nice. Our final one: it's once per battle, which really limits them obviously. Your hero phase: Fasten. Effect: if this unit was not set up this turn, it can use the normal move ability as if it were your movement phase. It's a once per battle scout, isn't it, basically? I think that's the weakest one, but again, it might be that you just need that extra movement. Yeah, interesting. I really like Madden. I think that's the best one of the lot. Interesting stuff though. And our War Scrolls for the day: the Gore-gruntas. 9-inch move with a 3-up save, 5 health, 2 control, melee weapons, chopper or hacker, charge +1 damage, 3 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 3s, 1 rend, 1 damage, +1 damage on the charge, and if you take Duff Up the Big Thing, you can have them wounding on a 2, which is quite nice. And the Grunter's Tusks, again, charge +1 damage and companion, 3 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 1 rend, 1 damage. I know that they get the extra damage on the charge, but 1 damage on a unit like that feels a bit weak. And then we have our passive Barge Through. Effect: when this unit moves, it can pass through models in enemy inventory units and can pass through the combat ranges of enemy infantry units. It cannot end its move in combat unless specified in the ability used. I suppose it gets them out of the way so you can charge again, get your extra damage if you don't clear through a unit, or because they are a unit size of 3, if you go into a unit of 20, you might struggle to chew through them. I think it's a nice passive. Keywords: Cavalry Champion, Destruction, and Ironjawz. And they are unit size of 3, 200 points, regiment options, cavalry. So what do we think? I can't compare them to the units in the battle tome, I'm afraid. I like doing the compare thing. My analytical brain enjoys that, but we can't do that with this one because I haven't got access to those sheets. Let me know what you think in the comments, and actually let me know what you think between the two units as well. I'm always interested in that side of things. Our second war scroll of the day, the Weirdbrute Wrekkaz. 4-inch move, that's quite slow. The 5-up save with a 5-up ward, 3 health, 1 control. Melee weapons, the Chain Smasher, anti-infantry +1 rend, 6 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 3s, 1 rend, 1 damage. Is there a lot of 1 damage in Ironjawz? Something as big as one of those boys, with a chain swinging around a mace basically, isn't it? Giant mace. You would have thought that it would do more damage. They also have an ability, once per turn army, any combat phase, proper wonky. Declare, if this unit is in combat, pick a friendly Ironjawz unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Effect, add 1 to hit rolls for the target's combat attacks for the rest of the turn. That's really nice. And you could create some nice synergies between Wrekkaz and other units. Okay. Keywords: Infantry, Ward 5-up, Destruction, Ironjawz, and Brute. They are unit size 3, 110 points. 110 points isn't too bad, I suppose. And regiment options: Infantry. So what do we think? Just looking at the two units, Gore-gruntas are probably gonna go down quickly. 5 health is nice, 3-up save is nice. Do have a bit of movement, but I can see where they may get stuck in units. I quite like the Wrekkaz. Don't discount a 5-up ward, that's nice. 5-up save isn't great, but then look at them, they're running around in iron trousers, basically, aren't they? I really like their ability though, just being able to give another unit close to them +1 to hit rolls is quite nice, especially if the majority of the Ironjawz army hits on 4s. I think that's just very nice. 3s to wound on the whole is pretty good, and then you have an ability up here that means you can better that if need be. I don't know Mighty Destroyers, but if you're playing into that, that's quite nice. The Monstrous Traits, extra rend might be really good because, well, they've got a bit of rend on their weapons that we can see here, but extra rend isn't a bad thing if you just need a quick something. I really like Madden. I think that's just fun. Fasten, I always struggle with once per battle abilities because either I'll forget about using it, or I don't like having to take something like a monstrous trait or an artifact power or something that is, oh, you can just have a move, but you can only do it once, and then you've not got anything else to make that unit feel special. But again, if you want your monsters in combat really quickly, like turn 2, turn 3 maybe, it's not a bad thing to have. Base value, I quite like the War Scrolls. I think they're fun. I don't think they hit as hard as they maybe should, but the army may have other things that stack into extra damage and stuff. Monstrous Traits are fine. Madden's great, but the other two are a bit rubbish, but they're not the worst in the world. And I quite like the battle formations. I quite like Duff Up the Big Thing. I think that's just fun. Yeah, not bad. Not the best faction update that we've seen in the Scourge of Ghyran series. I still think that Sociarch Bone Reapers. I think that theirs was exceptionally good. They had some really fun stuff in there. With the Bone Reapers, I like everything about them. So I'm slightly biased. I apologise, but that's just how it is sometimes. I don't think this is bad, but Ironjawz fans, you folks, play this army. Let me know what you think of this update in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.